Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and call this City Commission meeting to order. As we begin our meeting, I'm going to ask you to join me for a moment of silence, and then we'll turn to Pledge of Allegiance before we get to roll call. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Next, we will have roll call.
Commissioner Asasi?
Present.
Commissioner Robbins?
Present.
Commissioner Purdue?
Present.
Commissioner O'Connor?
Present.
Commissioner Knight?
Present.
Mayor Bliss?
Yes. And then before I get on to the first opportunity for public comment, we do have a translator who's with us today. So if you need assistance with translation services, please let us know, and we'll make sure to provide that for you. Yep. Hi, welcome.
Good afternoon. We're here to offer interpretation services during the meeting and public comments. If we're needed, we'll be at the back of the room. Buenas tardes. Estamos ofreciendo servicios de interpretación durante la reunión y para los comentarios públicos. Si se nos necesita, estaremos al final del salón. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so the next, before I get to opening it up for public comments on agenda items, just to walk you through our agenda today, we have we actually have 5 scheduled public hearings. I'm going to take those 2 together. I'm going to take some of them together because they're related to the same project. So if you are here to speak on the project at 839 Butterworth Street, I'm going to ask you to stay put until I open up that public comment period. And if you are here to speak on the project at 1947 Eastern Avenue, I'll ask you to also stay put until we open up that scheduled public hearing for that project. Our first opportunity for public comment is specifically on agenda items. So these are items that we voted on earlier today in one of our standing committee meetings. So on the agenda, you'll see a list of all of those items. And then if you're here to speak on anything else, so if you're here to speak on something other than an agenda item or those 2 projects, I'm going to ask you just to wait till the end of the meeting for open public comment. So with that, if you are here to speak on an agenda item, so that's something specific we're voting on, you can come up here. A few things about public comment. We ask that you share your name, the city that you live in. We'll give you up to 3 minutes to speak. You can look at the clock right here. For this first opportunity for public comment, we ask that you be really explicit about what item you're referring to. So if it's community development item number 4 or cow number 2, we ask that you share that. And then we also ask you that you take a look at the meeting procedures and expectations. And while you're up here providing comment, a couple things. One, we ask that you your comments are directed towards us and not towards anyone in the audience. If you ask us questions, this is not a time for us to answer them. It's a time for us to listen to your comments. And then we ask that you refrain from a number of things. So we ask that you not curse or use derogatory comments or make inappropriate comments to anyone, especially anyone in the audience. And then we ask you not to cheer or boo or clap. We want to make sure that whoever comes up here that they feel comfortable speaking. So with that, I'll open up our first public comment period. And again, this is for agenda items.
How you doing, everyone? My name is D. Jones, and I'm speaking on Fiscal Committee, number 2, resolution of approving the contract of amount of, you guys see that. So I wanted to speak on you guys' $15,000 contract with Grand Valley State University. I actually listened to the chambers, the state of business. I didn't know we actually had a black chair of our business chambers, but he spoke on the economic impacts of not investing into underserved communities and communities of color. And so as we are talking about specifics, arts and culture, I don't want you guys to forget the art of gaming, the culture of gaming, and the cool esports competition that we'll be bringing here June 8th. As you guys we'll see eventually there will be economic impact that goes out. I spoke to the keynote speaker of the chambers and let him know that I wanted to challenge him because he was speaking about how he didn't think the economy will really change, and I believe I am going to change the economy with the love and passion and the resources that I have that I've been able to pour here, and I know that the Sports Commission wouldn't have been able to bring with the resources that I was able to bring here also. So I'm really excited and want you guys to think about the arts and culture of gaming, the economic impact that gaming and esports can have on our community, on our state, on our county, on our region, globally. We can be a global leader. We can be a global leader of change, of economic change through gaming and culture. I think I'm a very cultural person. I think I'm a very diverse and truly ethical. I actually have an ethical leadership certificate from the University of South Florida, which is a Division I university that the bosses pour a lot of funding into, and they sponsor events there. And I believe that I am an ethical leader, and I believe that we do need to think about arts and culture and the culture of gaming and the beautiful arts of different games, like using the Unreal Engine to develop games. There are going to be some kids around the community, around our community, around King County, around the state that will use the Unreal Engine and different gaming software to develop games. And there are also competitions, congressional competitions that youth can participate in, where they actually develop a game, and if the game is good enough, they get to present that to Congress. They get to present that to congressional leadership and educate them on social issues, and they can use these games to solve real-world problems that we all face, but they can do that using gaming. So I don't want you guys to not think of the economic impact of arts and culture of gaming, because it's huge. It's larger than all traditional sports. I'm going to sell out the DeVos. I'll boldly say this. I'm going to sell out the DeVos before I ever be a sellout in life. Just straight up. And I'm very, very proud of the accomplishments and the economic impact that I'm going to have with gaming, and to have the police departments walking around and having to protect the citizens, because it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of people flying from all across the United States to come here. And I'm a black African American doing this, and it's Black History. It's 365 days of Black History, to be honest, but they'll give us 29 days out of our stolen history. And so I just don't want you guys to not forget that and recognize that it's Black History 365, and black people are beautiful. And I'm going to create an economic change, and I don't want you guys to forget the arts and culture of gaming, because it's so powerful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. All right, I'm going to close that public comment period, and we'll move along to our approval of the minutes. So, Commissioners, can I get a motion to approve our minutes from our January 23rd meeting?
So moved.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, next that will take us to petitions and communications, and we have quite a few before us today.
Yeah, a lot of them are in conjunction with the folks that joined us at the last meeting talking about Slow Streets. So first one's communication received from Monica Love expressing support for Slow Streets.
Received, that's received and filed.
Communication received from Kelsey Casbaum expressing support for Slow Streets.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Nate Hunt expressing support for proposed zoning reforms.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from Nate Hunt expressing support for Slow Streets.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from Adam Wise regarding protected bikeways.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Lane Fowler expressing support for protected bike lane network.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from Brittany Luma expressing support for safe bike lane development.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from Cameron LaDesseur expressing support for protected bike lanes.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Emily Tarquinio expressing support for safe streets.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from Rick Armbruster, Executive Director and Founder of Upcycle Bikes, regarding the need for more protected and connected bike routes.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Kelly Arand expressing support for slow streets.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from John Willett expressing support for proposed zoning changes.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Cameron LaDesseur expressing support for zoning reform.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Matthew Jaglowski expressing concerns with safe bicycle accessibility.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Scott Atchison regarding an Old View walking tour.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Mark Baker regarding regulating LED lights.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Kelsey Purdue regarding their resignation from the Uptown boards.
That is received to our, referred to our committee on appointments. Communication
received from Chris Yule, IFF, expressing support for zoning changes.
That's received and filed.
And finally, communication received from Greg Hampshire, Creston Neighborhood Association, expressing support for the proposed zoning ordinance.
And that's received and filed. And Commissioners, just a point I want to note. So Commissioner Purdue resigned from Uptown, but she was appointed to serve on Southtown. So as soon as we have our third ward commission seat filled, we'll go ahead and fill that position in Uptown. And I know Uptown is split in between second ward and third ward, and we'll just do our best between us to support them during this period of time when there's a vacancy. All right, that will take us to our reports of city officers.
First one is Comptroller's Report for the period of January 10, 2024 through January 23, 2024, in the amount of $19,171,580.91.
That's received and filed.
And Treasurer's Report for the period of January 10, 2024 through January 23, 2024.
All right, and that's received and filed. All right, next that will take us to our consent agenda. So our consent agenda are items that we voted on earlier today where there was a unanimous vote. So today with a voice vote, we'll adopt those items. Commissioners, can I get a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. Commissioners, any additional questions or comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, that will take us to ordinances to be adopted, and we have 4 ordinances before us today.
First one is ordinance amending Section 10.41 of Chapter 181 of the Code of the City of Grand Rapids entitled General Traffic Regulations.
All right, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved and supported. Commissioner Knight, you want to tell us about this?
This is, thank you, Mayor, consideration for the ordinance to amend parking restriction. The purpose of this amendment is to update the current ordinance to include reserved parking spaces that have a parking hood placed on the parking meter head or a parking space designated to indicate prohibited parking.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's a
Lots of
mouthful.
Ps. Yes.
All right, Commissioners, any questions or comments on this? All right, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Yes.
Commissioner Asasi,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue,
Yes.
Mayor Bliss.
Yes, it carries. All right, that will take us to our second ordinance.
That is a non-represented employees ordinance amending Section 3.2 of Ordinance 2022-40, new classification, mobile GR director.
All right.
So moved.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. Commissioner O'Connor from our fiscal committee, want to tell us about this?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. At the request of the Deputy City Manager, a new classification has been created for the Mobile GR Director. This position, though used in an acting capacity in the past, has been created with an updated job description that accurately reflects the essential functions and responsibilities of the role. The previous director was placed in a Traffic Safety Director classification, which wasn't believed to properly align with that work.
Great, thank you. Commissioners, any questions? All right, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Yes.
Commissioner Asasi,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Mayor Bliss.
Yes, and Commissioners, can I get a motion to give this immediate effect?
So moved.
All right, moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, that will take us to our third ordinance before us.
GREIU ordinance amending sections 4.1 and 4.3 of ordinance 2022-32, range change for industrial pretreatment program inspector, and a new classification, administrative support specialist.
All right, can I get a motion?
Support.
All right, moved and supported. Commissioner Isasi, who serves on our Civil Service Board, you want to tell us about this?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The subject's a mouthful, but there's 2 items here. The first one, at the request of the Parks Department, our HR team completed a classification and compensation study for that financial assistant 2 position, and it was determined that body of work did not align. There was not already an existing classification, so this new one of an administrative support specialist has been established. And then moving to the Environmental Services Department, same process was done for this industrial pretreatment program inspector, and concluded that it should be accurately revised to make sure that all those essential functions as well as additional requirements have been added, which have resulted in an increase to the salary range. So the administrative support specialist, this is a new classification, so 17AH is the new range, and for the industrial pretreatment programs inspector went from a 21AH to a 23AH.
Great, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Asasi,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue,
Yes.
Commissioner Knight,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connor,
Yes.
Mayor Bliss.
Yes, it carries. And Commissioners, can I get a motion to give this immediate effect?
So moved.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, that will take us to our fourth ordinance.
APA ordinance amending section 4.2 of ordinance 2022-33, new position, building code enforcement supervisor.
All right, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. Commissioner Pugh, you want to tell us about this?
Absolutely. After hiring a new building official, our department decided to reevaluate the need for an added assistant building official position and determined that the qualifications required by the assistant building official position resulted in a very limited candidate pool and said that the credentials were unnecessary to serve the current needs of the building division. The needs of the building inspections divisions have changed, and a building code enforcement supervisor position will directly oversee the division's enforcement services. A little bit more about this position being created is that it will directly oversee the division's enforcement services. It will provide dedicated supervisory oversight and support in case progress to ensure timely inspections and follow-up and advance enforcement efforts when appropriate. This position will also be responsible for supporting the work of inspectors and staff, ensuring that the building code enforcement and inspections are conducted properly. Finally, this supervisory role will provide enforcement advice to inspectors, resolving citizen complaints, and work with the city building official to make decisions regarding building code enforcement issues.
Great, thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Purdue?
Yes.
Commissioner Knight?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Connor?
Yes.
Commissioner Sassi?
Yes.
Mayor Bliss?
Yes, it carries. And Commissioners, can I get a motion to give this immediate effect?
So moved.
Or
All right, moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, Commissioners, next up will take us to our scheduled public hearings. And as I indicated, we have 5 public hearings related to 2 projects. So with your support, I'm going to combine those, and we'll do the first 2 together and the last 3 together. So the first 2 are related to the same project, and this project is located at 839 Butterworth Street Southwest. So we have a public hearing today to consider an obsolete property rehabilitation district, and then a companion item to that is an application for a 10-year obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate. So notice of this hearing was made pursuant to state law. What we'll do today is we'll start with Mr. Klooster, our interim director of economic development, telling us about this project, and then we'll invite folks up to share additional details if they would like. And then I'll turn it over to my colleagues to see if they have any questions, and then if you're here to be heard on this item, then you can come up after that. So, Mr. Klooster?
Very good, thank you. We have 2 projects for you today. Both are under the Obsolete Property Rehabilitation Act, which is a program you're familiar with. Qualifying properties are functionally obsolete, meaning they can't be used for commercial purposes. And the program does not reduce taxes, but it does limit the amount taxes will increase after the applicant's investment. So the first project is an application we have from the Chaplow Collection, LLC, at 839 Butterworth Avenue on the southwest side. This building has been vacant since at least 2011. The applicant is an interior design firm and plans to invest about $1 million into the property. The company is in Grand Rapids, but leasing space. They've been in business since 2005. This is about $1 million project, retains 8 existing employees, and the applicant will be able to add 3 new employees in connection with her business. Ms. Chaplow has met with the John Ball area neighbors, and the West Side Corridor Improvement Authority provided a facade grant for this project. Late last week, they approved the project. So I have Ms. Catherine Chaplow here, the business owner, provide an overview of her goals for the project and answer any questions you have.
Great, thank you, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I am Catherine Chaplow, and I started my company on the west side out of our home, where we have lived for 24 years on Bridge Street, 18 years ago. We have recently been leasing a very small space at the corner of State and Lafayette, and have been looking for about 5 years for a space. My intent was specifically to find a building that we could rehab on the west side. My family and I love the West Side, and I'm really excited to be investing in this property. It is completely gutted right now, so our plan is to completely renovate and relocate our design studio, our shared workspace, our meeting space where we meet with area builders and architects and our clients to this location, and also expand with the addition of a retail showroom. I should just add that it's a bit of a dud on the exterior right now, and so we're really excited to beautify the lot and the location for the neighborhood and this corridor.
Thank you. It's a great location. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right. Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
Yeah, thank you so much. If you are here to be heard on this request, you're welcome to come forward. Again, we ask that you share your name, the city that you live in, and you'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone here who wishes to be heard on this item? Okay, we'll go ahead and close that public hearing then, and this will be referred back to our committee of the whole. So that will take us to our next project and public hearing. So these, we have 3 of them, again, all related to an obsolete property. So this is for 1947 Eastern Avenue and 1941 Eastern Avenue Southeast. So there's a public hearing to consider the establishment of the obsolete property rehabilitation district. And then there's 2 items related to the application for the 10-year obsolete property rehabilitation exemption certificate. So with that, again, we'll follow the same process. We'll turn it over to Mr. Klooster. We'll invite folks who are here representing the project to come forward, and then we'll open it up for public comment.
Thank you. So we're moving from the southwest side to the southeast side near the intersection of Burton and Eastern. The 2 addresses here are connected. We can facilitate the project with 1 district, but we always recommend 2 separate exemption applications in case these buildings are sold in the future. It facilitates that process more easily. So total about 6,300 square feet of functionally obsolete space. Applicant intends to create 5 retail spaces. 1 of them is currently occupied, but the other 4 would be for future retail tenants in this area. Project cost is about $200,000. Again, the applicant has done engagement, met with Garfield Park Neighborhoods Association. We have a letter of support from them. And also similarly 2 facade grants from Southtown Corridor Improvement Authority, 1 for each property. And so I have Mr. Mike Hawkins here, who's undertaking this project, to give you his thoughts.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Klooster.
Welcome, Mr. Hawkins. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. Good to be seen. Madam Mayor, City Commissioners, City Manager Washington, other city officials, and all other interested parties. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to provide, in support of our Oprah application, a brief overview of our plans for 1947 and 1941 Eastern Avenue Southeast. My name is Mike Hawkins, and I'm the owner of these properties, which are near the Burton and Eastern intersection. This area is personally near and dear to me, as I have operated my CPA firm at 824 Burton since 1990, which is right around the corner from these 2 eastern properties. Having spent most of my professional adult life at Burton and Eastern, I know this area very well. It's a great neighborhood and a great business district. 1941 and 1947 Eastern Southeast have been obsolete for many years. So our plans will be to, 1, renovate the buildings inside and out, 2, collaborate with community partners such as Garfield Park Neighborhood Association and the Corridor Improvement Authority to determine what businesses would add to the quality of life for the residents of this area, and then lease these buildings to prospective tenants who want to showcase their talents and wares. We know there will be challenges along the way, one of which is parking. And I know there's been some discussion about eliminating the angle parking in front of these buildings for parallel parking, which I hope doesn't happen because that would reduce available parking. And then just normal property development challenges. However, can I stand here and just say how excited I am to be part of economic development in the 3rd Ward, which during the majority of my adult life in Grand Rapids hasn't always seen the same development that our brethrens in the 1st and 2nd Ward has. So I just say to you guys, whether we think about renovating these buildings as a coffee shop or a deli sandwich shop or an incubator kitchen, which we haven't firmed up those plans yet, whatever ends up there, we think will be good for the neighborhood and will improve the quality of life for the residents therein. Thank you for your consideration of my Oprah application, and I'd love to answer any questions any of you might have.
Great, thank you. I'm excited to see these properties redeveloped, so thank you for your leadership. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Commissioner?
Well, good afternoon. No questions, just want to affirm my support of this. Very excited to see this space up for exemption, and excited to see it activated or renovated and activated, and just, thank you for being here and sharing your thoughts and your plans, and I share that excitement.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there anyone here who wishes to be heard on this application or request? Yeah, come on. You're welcome to come forward.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
I'm Mitch. I own Harvest Health Foods, and we're at Burton and Eastern. So I support this in any way to do anything to the corner because there's, not many businesses left there. So I just want to say thank you for coming forward and possibly doing something to the corner because any support will be needed because it's a dying corner and we need some growth. So just want to say thank you.
It needs some life and love, as I say. Thank you for your comments. All right, is there anyone else who wishes to be heard? All right, we're going to go ahead and close that public hearing, and that will be referred back to our committee of the whole. All right, that will take us to our last opportunity for public comment. So if you are here to speak on any other issue, you are welcome to come forward. Again, we ask that you share your name, the city that you live in, and you'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak.
Oh, life is just so beautiful. How you doing, everybody? I don't think I need an introduction, but I'm going to still tell you my name. My name is D. Jones. I'll be a future billionaire one day. I'm a genius. I'm a black genius. I'm left-handed. I'm a very unique individual. It's only like 10% of the world that's left-handed. And I'm one of the people. I'm going to be balling one day. It's going to be crazy. I know I'm going to really ball one day. It's going to be crazy. But I'm just very excited to bring economic change to the city. I grind it hard every single day. Every single day, and never fake, never pretend, never acted like something I wasn't. I used to sit up late night, losing hours of sleep just thinking about this, like really thinking about this. You could probably get on my Facebook and see. Probably see a lot of explicit things. I ain't going to lie to you because I'm always going to be D. Jones and show who I am. But I used to sit up late night and just thinking about this, just thinking about change, thinking how all of these things are going to come together, how the universe is going to spin all of these things. And it's actually happening. And sometimes it don't feel real because it's actually happening. And I never forget where I came from. I'm a guy who grew up on SSI and Social Security, and I used to get $150 off an SSI check, and I used to pay my phone bill and have $97 left. And that shit used to have to last the whole 30 days, 31 days, 29 days, 28 days. But now better days are coming, and I know it is. And I don't care who it is, whose face I have to look at, and anybody in what room I have to walk in to see change, it's going to happen. And I'm going to ensure that I put all the love and passion and energy that I have in this big, huge heart that I have. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that this is the best event possible for our state, to put us in a better position, to show us in a positive light, because this attention is needed. It's so needed. I know the attention that this can get because I've gotten attention for things that I've done, like the Youth Justice Esports League. I didn't even ask the news for an interview, and they were asking me to do interviews for that. So I know the power of black people and just showing up and just going after it every single day. I did that in front of everybody. Nobody around the planet can say, D. Jones, you faking, because I put it out there every single step. I put the blueprint out there, and I believe this is better than Jay-Z's blueprint. I honestly do, with everything that I got. We're going to see change. We're going to see economic change. I'm tired of this. I'm on Forbes. I'll be on Forbes again. I know I'm going to be on Forbes. Y'all going to see change. And you guys can help me see change. And in a positive light, it's needed. Y'all know what the city been through, and y'all know where we can go. And it's going to be further than what I even imagine, anybody's imagination.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. All right, are there others who wish to be heard? Yep, come on.
Hi, good afternoon. Drosky on Koval. It is known that there is now a resolution to remedy the wrongful violation that has occurred on our driveway improvements on Koval. I'm not coming before you to consider any zoning amendments, nor can amendments take place through a dispute resolution. There's nothing wrong with your ordinance in itself. This remedy has not resolved deeper issues that I call the meat and potatoes that lie within the planning organization. Our case began from city staff driving around, having an aha moment, finding our project without a permit. A notice of zoning complaint was then issued on the basis of no permit issued. What is known now that was not known then, there is no written expression requiring a driveway permit in your ordinance, but yet we were issued a notice of zoning complaint based on needing one. Not knowing this at the time, I inquired with city staff what to do next. You must submit a permit because approval from our office is required. You must submit a permit to avoid further violation. None of this is true. The two statements, as well as the notice issued, are actually, I believe, a violation of the city to us. When looking on the city website, this may be news to some of you. For driveway permits, it states, apply for a driveway permit to make sure it meets our community standards. Search, please, community standards. You will find none. But then, wait, you look at fences, accessory structures, it says you must apply for a permit to make sure it meets our community standards as outlined in the zoning ordinance. There is someone in the city that understands that you cannot write this for driveways because it is not required. There is ignorance, there is incompetence, possibly misfeasance or malfeasance, which can belong in any organization. This action acts on ignorance of a resident, I believe. The action then puts the resident into the city's web of wanting to dictate action on a resident. Why am I saying this? Because of the three statements that I just mentioned to you. I'm not saying that your staff aren't good people, okay? I'm saying good people make bad decisions. I have. You guys have, the planning staff has, but we need to realize our bad decisions, right? And change the trajectory and move on to better ways. If it continues, bad decisions one after another, you become them. In the private sector, if employees continue to operate in bad decisions, they get fired. In government, we just create more jobs. So I also listened to the presentation on the survey, and please don't cut me off because I won't go much over. But the results were very few of the survey, broad questions asked. Everyone needs to know how to perform good customer service, we know that. But it's a disappointment because the training that needs to be involved is staff that needs to understand their job, the ordinance. I will tell you I've had good experience with many that don't know down there. We all need to be, please don't cut me off yet.
I'm sorry. Your time's up.
Okay, I'll continue on the next month.
All right, others wish to be heard?
Hi, my name is Joyce P. Gibson, and I'm running for governor in 2026. I'm here to say it's not a skin thing, but a sin thing. We're killing ourselves off. The existence of mankind as we know it is being threatened. Through systematic pessimistic conditions and negative reinforcements, Americans and the world over is progressively submitting. America, the most gifted, feared, and respected nation in the world, is crumbling. We have learned to submit and not to subdue. Under such conditions of self-gratification and adultery, we are mutilating ourselves and destroying our future. Women as young as 9 can have an abortion or order the pill, killing our unborn child or possibly leaving them infertile or even killing themselves. And I don't know what to say about transgendering. It's not good. But I do know what the Bible says in Genesis 1:26 through 28. It says, God created male and female, and he and she, and told them to go and multiply and subdue the earth. If you want to make America great again, we better seek God. Thank you.
All right, others wish to be heard? Hi, welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Todd Ernst. I'm the new event director for Irish on Ionia. Just a quick update here. We are in the preliminary stages of being able to officially be able to make the claim that we are the country's largest St. Patrick's Day street celebration, not to be confused with parades, things of that nature. And if I could place an official request with the City Commission for a manifestation of better weather this year. Thank you.
I'll work on that, Todd.
We just make requests.
All right, anyone else who wishes to be heard? All right, seeing none, I'm going to close this public comment period, and I'll turn to my colleagues, and I'll today start down here with Commissioner Perdue.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just excited to have made a step forward today regarding filling the vacancy for Third Ward City Commissioner. So we had a good discussion with an appointments committee and are looking forward to inviting 7 folks who met the eligibility requirements and submitted a complete application to interview with appointments on February 20th. And from there, 3 finalists will be recommended to City Commission for fuller or wider consideration and a final vote. So excited for that to be underway. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just one quick thing I wanted to put on everyone's radar. This year is the second year that the city will be sponsoring the Cesar y Chavez Social Justice March, which is an event that I've had the pleasure of taking part in the past couple years. So this year it'll be on Thursday, March 14th. So I said I would do my due diligence and make sure everyone has it on their calendar. So thanks and have a good day.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for the work today. Some things that I want to highlight are at our Economic Development Project team. I can never get the acronym right, so let me just say the whole thing. We talked about the investment specifically for Third Ward and Second Ward, so I'm excited to see those move forward and continue to have an impact in all of the areas in the Second and Third Ward, but particularly in Plainfield area. I was also happy that we were able to move forward with the contract for the economic development impacts of arts and culture in this community. So that was, I appreciate the quick turnaround and the communication for that to come to this point. And then I would just like to highlight a couple of different things that are happening. Commissioner Knight and I serve on the Kent County Community Action Board, and this week, Saturday is their Walk for Warmth event. So this is an event that regularly happens, but they have really been trying to put it more out into the news space and the media. And so it provides additional funding to support those that need additional support for heating during these winter months, although it's very nice out today. And then also the ECA, the Easttown Community Association, is having their coveted pancake breakfast this week, Saturday. So I'll be there as well and look forward to just connecting with individuals. And then this past weekend, many of us had the chance to go to the Giant Awards. Let me say, remember they said it's not like Meyer, it's Meyer, not Meyer, so Giant, not Giants, where a number of African-American leaders were recognized, and the Giant among Giants was Jerry Bishop, and it's always good to see people really surprised when they get their award, or maybe they're not surprised, I don't know, but congratulations to Bishop on that award, and it was just a great evening of seeing stories of people who had served. There was a father who won and his daughter who won. There were other family members who won, and it was held just across the street. So I know a number of us had a chance to go, and just want to say congrats to all those winners over the weekend. Thanks.
Thanks for highlighting that. Commissioner O'Connor? Commissioner Knight? All right. City Clerk?
I'd be remiss if I didn't make an election update. So, as we're getting, a week from Saturday, on February 17 will be the first day of early voting. So you can go to the city's website, search early voting to see where those locations are and times. We're all getting ready for it. We had some open houses over the weekend for election workers to come take a look at some of the new equipment we'll be using for early voting and how that will work. So that was a good event for old seasoned election workers and new election workers, just to get a feel for how we're going to be doing ballot on demand. So it'll be a little bit different, but voters obviously have three tracks in order to vote, or 3 choices between either early voting, putting their ballot through a tag there, absentee by mail or drop box, and then of course we'll be open 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. on Election Day, February 27.
Great, thanks. City Attorney? All right, City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank all city staff for their work in preparation for this meeting, this day. Also, I get a chance occasionally to see firefighters train and spend time in their training center, and occasionally getting to work out there with them. And this past weekend had a chance to do the same in the police department and spend time in their training center and spend time with the men and women from SRT. And I want to let you know they are very physically fit. So thanks for inviting me. Also, regarding many other events happening this month, celebrating African American history, Black history, and several programs at the Public Library, the Grand Rapids Public Museum, and throughout our community, highlighting our history and legacy. And I want to also thank our legislative team for finalization of legislative priorities today, as well as the effort in making sure that we are championing or advocating for issues here in Grand Rapids and Lansing. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I'll just add two final things. One is if you are super interested in learning more about our city engineer and all the work that our engineering department does, Mr. Tim Berkman was a guest on my City Connection show yesterday and really highlighted all the great work that they do throughout our city and all the projects that they're working on. So if you want to learn more about what our city engineer does, I encourage you to tune into GRTV and hear from Mr. Berkman himself. And then commissioners, please relay my regrets. I love going to the ECA breakfast. I'm not able to do it this year because I will be in a 8-hour planning session for the Promise Zone Authority.
Okay. Bring you some pancakes.
I will let you know how that goes, and we'll make sure that you are provided with information as we continue to move forward to make sure that students throughout the city of Grand Rapids is taking advantage of going to GRCC at no cost, as well as getting supports while they are there so that they hopefully complete their certification or their associate's degree. So with that, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of this sunny day. Enjoy it while you can, while we have it, and have a good rest of the day. We're adjourned.